No one knows who's going to win the election. Indeed, we have to go through it together and see who does what and who votes. But there are signs not only of enthusiasm in the Democratic Party, but a real crystallization of something that we've seen ever since Roe fell. Women in power demanding more power so men stop taking away their rights. We saw this at the convention.
I'm telling y'all to do something.
We believe that reproductive rights are human rights.
Kamala will protect abortion rights nationwide.
Like women across America, we just GSD. Get stuff done.
My daughters and yours deserve every option, every hope, every possible future.
We trust women. We trust women.
We want to turn for a special discussion with two very powerful, interesting, and experienced women. Sophia Bush was one of the many artists and cultural creators that we saw highlighted at the convention. She's a TV and film veteran, One Tree Hill, Chicago PD, John Tucker Must Die. And in politics, she was there. And if you follow her on socials, you could get all kinds of fun backstage, what do they call it, BTS content.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
There she is with the first woman Speaker of the House, a bunch of other cool pictures. Oh, Veep. Come on now. And Jen Psaki is, of course, our colleague, but also served as a White House press secretary for President Biden. Welcome to you both. Jen,
I'm sorry.
Jen, hometown advantage. I'll go to you first. What does it mean not only to have a woman nominee, there are women in the Republican Party, but to have women's rights at the center right now?
Well, first of all, I love you, Ari. I love being on with you. I love Sophia on like a personal level. We're having a love fest. I wish I was there with you guys. But I would say what it means, Kamala Harris, women see themselves, young women of color see themselves, young men of color see themselves. People also see themselves in somebody who is bold and fearless, and that is powerful. We saw that at the convention. The big contrast, we talked about this a lot on set, Ari, is that so many people saw themselves at that convention, which is so different from a couple of weeks before. So that was a really powerful thing. On abortion rights, as you were playing those clips, one of the things that I think is so interesting is abortion rights used to be an also mentioned, right? People who were speaking at conventions or at events would feel like, and I got to talk about abortion rights and say I believe in a woman's right to choose. Now it has become a front and center issue. It was a dominant issue at the convention. You had these powerful stories from people like Hallie Duvall and others that people were just crying, watching, tear-jerking moments. But also you had people like Governor Pritzker talks about abortion rights more comfortably than most people I know. He is a billionaire governor of Illinois who's obviously a man. This has changed as an issue that is front and center, that people have a comfort in talking about, and that's a big shift. Obviously because of the Supreme Court decision, but that's a big shift, and we saw that at the convention.
Yeah. How did it feel to you? Conventions are a time for nerds. You might self-identify as a nerd.
Deeply, yes.
But you have a lot of people who look to you and look to those of people in culture who aren't political nerds and who seem to be tuning in right now.
Well, one of the things I think is the privilege of my life. Listen, I love my job as a storyteller, but that's my individual passion. My calling as a citizen of this country is to work on behalf of community. And I've realized what a gift it is to have a platform and to be a policy nerd, because I'm able to help translate why these policies are so personal. And just as Jen was mentioning, I think people thought of abortion, reproductive rights on a whole as this sort of bottom shelf brown bag issue, like we're going to talk about it in certain circles and not others. But people who've been fed this stream of lies about what reproductive health care looks like have had to look into the faces of American families, look at women who have lost their fallopian tubes, who've gone into sepsis. We've heard the stories of women who've died or nearly died because they haven't been given emergency medical care. And we know that there's no logic to this. You can't say you're a pro-family party and then work to ban IVF. None of this makes any sense. It's about money, control, and power. And if you can't win on policy, you certainly shouldn't be trying to win on killing half the American population.
Yeah. And that goes to, again, are we listening to women?
Yeah.
I worked in civil rights, and one of the challenges with racial issues is you can go to communities that, even if people aren't consciously, actively racist, they're not interacting with members of the other communities. So they really are closed off. With gender, there are women in every community, right? And everyone has a mom and yada, yada. And yet the women's power and voice has been so truncated. And so we did pull one piece of sound, a classic Saki. That's a saying around here, okay? You know that saying?
Are we getting a
Jen?
Saki bomb?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's a Saki bomb. I would say it's definitely a shot. And if it's a full bomb, only Saki can tell us. But in all seriousness, you used that podium, and of course you were representing the whole administration and speaking to the whole country. But at times you spoke as a woman on these issues. Let's take a listen.
Who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant, but for women out there who have faced those choices, this is an incredibly difficult thing.
Jen?
Look, everybody knows. My sister has a T-shirt she sometimes wears to the playground that says everyone knows somebody who has had an abortion. That may or may not be true, but most people do. Or someone who has struggled with fertility, or someone who had a pregnancy that did not go to term where they had to make a difficult choice. This is an issue, as you said, Ari, it impacts not only women across the country and women of childbearing age, whatever you want to call that, but also their grandmothers. Also, they think about their daughters. Husbands think about their wives. Boyfriends think about their girlfriends. And this is the part of it that I think was a little bit missing from the political conversation. This is not just a women's issue. It's a societal issue about taking away women's rights to make choices about their own bodies. And even people, this is so interesting in polls, who would consider themselves not necessarily in favor of abortion rights, don't want that to be taken away from others. And that tells you a lot about where this is right now. But yes, you have to speak to things as a human and as a woman or a man or whatever you may be, because I think that's what connects with people too.
And was it a Saki bomb?
I don't know. I'm not the arbiter of that, Ari. You just have moments. I try to be calm in that briefing room, but I'm an Irish lass. I have moments where you gotta say the thing.
Well, now I gotta ask you.
I like it.
Was it a Saki bomb?
I mean, I think so.
Okay.
And as, you know, an opinionated Italian, I understand exactly what Jen's talking about.
I have like a minute left with Sophia. We also do our fallbacks.
Yep.
You're a special guest.
Yep.
The lighters are here. That's how you know you're in a fallback.
Yeah.
We got the lighters here.
I got a whole bowl.
Are we going to take it? Yep, there they are.
Look at this.
I want a lighter.
Well, you got to come to the set. What's on your fallback list in politics?
Oh, my goodness. Really what it is trying to split us up on issues that are human issues, whether we're talking about women and reproductive rights, whether we're talking about access to health care, whether we're talking about this very weird Republican talking point that Governor Walz is somehow not allowed to wear camo anymore because he's on the Democratic ticket.
Right.
It's like, I don't know what we're doing here, but we're so much more alike than we are different in this country. And we should understand that we're on the same team. So I actually not only own the hat, I had my own classic vintage camo shirt embroidered with the Harris Walz logo for the DNC.
Meaning you already owned the camo and you added the label.
Yeah, I sure did.
Where'd you get the camo?
I used to be part of a family that had a deer ranch outside of Texas. I'm a very good tracker, actually.
Yeah?
Also grew up a sharpshooter. So when people say Democrats want to take all your guns away, I'm like, that's not it so much. I think we're more having a conversation that if there's laws around cars, there probably also should be for weapons of war. Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in America, you have to get insurance just for owning a car.
Yeah.
Imagine if you did that for guns.
Imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Novel idea.
Sophia Bush, Jen, is a pretty good communicator, you know?
She's very good. And she uses her platform for good.
Yeah,
That's one of the reasons she's amazing.
Next time in person, Jen, you're very busy. We love having you. Thanks for coming on. Sophia Bush, thanks for being here.
Anytime.